Hello, thank you for joining with me. We are reading A Course in Miracles workbook for students, part 2 of the workbook. We are in section 11, What is Creation? Please read that section in its entirety each day or listen to my YouTube video. And we are on lesson 323. I gladly make the quote, sacrifice, unquote, of fear. I gladly make the sacrifice of fear. Here is the only, quote, sacrifice, unquote, you ask of your beloved Son. You ask him to give up all suffering, all sense of loss and sadness, all anxiety and doubt, and freely let your love come streaming into his awareness, healing him of pain and giving him your own eternal joy. Such is the, quote, sacrifice, unquote, that you ask of me, and one I gladly make. The only cost, that's quoted as well, cost, of restoration of your memory to me for the salvation of the world. As we pay the debt we owe to truth, footnote 139, what we owe to truth is simply the honoring of truth, which entails the letting go of falsehoods. So as we pay the debt we owe to truth, a debt which merely is the letting go of self-deceptions and of images we worshipped falsely, truth returns to us in wholeness and in joy. We are deceived no longer. Love has now returned to our awareness, and we are at peace again, for fear has gone and only love remains. And now I will read the commentary by Alan Watson. This is a practice suggestion by Robert Perry. Think of some resentment you are holding on to about someone. And two people just popped in my head. And it's not you, baby. Because you find it hard to let go of this resentment, there must be some perceived payoff in it. Perhaps you think it buys you a sense of righteousness or a sense of entitlement. But if you didn't see some sort of payoff in it, you'd easily and quickly let it go. Now realize that the real result of this resentment is fear. That is its real payoff. As you consider letting your resentment go, repeat these lines. I gladly make the sacrifice of fear. I freely let your love come streaming in. Commentary. Yesterday, and this is by Alan Watson, yesterday's lesson ended with the thought, what loss can I anticipate except the loss of fear? And today's lesson picks up on that idea. So I'm going to lose, but all I will lose is fear. I can live with that. Losing fear is no sacrifice. I will lose my fear with pleasure. It may seem as if I am being asked to give up some pleasant and valuable things. All I'm really being asked to give up is all suffering, all sense of loss and sadness, all anxiety and doubt. Attachment to these things in this world, things that are fragile, and that will not last, always brings with it suffering, loss, and anxiety. I may not realize it. I'm sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place. I may not realize it, but the ego's secret attraction to all such things is not the pleasure they bring me, but the pain. When I recognize that ego motivation, surely I will wisely and sanely let go of my attachment, or let my attachment go. And when I do, God's love comes streaming into my awareness. Do I want that today? God's love streaming into my awareness? Do I, perhaps this morning, long for such an experience? Then let me gladly sacrifice my fear. Let me simply give it up. Let me recognize that in clinging to anything besides the goal of God, I am clinging to fear, and let it go. Yes, my Father, today I am willing to make this sacrifice. Today, I am willing to stop being afraid of love. I feel as though I need to remind myself that in letting go of these things, I am not letting go of anything real. I am not really letting go at all. I am having an illusion of giving something up, but I never had anything real in the first place. All I am doing is letting go of self-deceptions and of images I worshipped falsely. This is just a debt we owe to the truth. It is just being honest. And as I acquiesce to truth, truth returns to me in wholeness and in joy. The deception has ended and love returns to my awareness, the fullness of the gift that is eternally mine. Love resurfaces in my memory. It makes a kind of natural sense that when I pay my debt to truth, truth returns to me. When fear has gone, only love remains. I gladly make the sacrifice, that's quoted, of course, of fear. And now, if you'll please close your eyes, if able to, and join me in the meditation. I will lead us. I gladly make the sacrifice of fear. Here is the only sacrifice you ask of your beloved Son. You ask him to give up all suffering, all sense of loss and sadness, all anxiety and doubt, and freely let your love come streaming into his awareness, healing him of pain and giving him your own eternal joy. Such is the quoted sacrifice you ask of me, and one I gladly make, the only cost, quoted, of restoration of your memory to me for the salvation of the world. I gladly make the sacrifice of fear. joining with me in that meditation. Now we will read Alan Watson's, there we go, commentary on the What is Creation section. This is lesson 323. I gladly make the sacrifice of fear. What is creation? We're in paragraph 2, sentences 1 through 3. God's thoughts refers to us, the thoughts of God. Creation is the sum of all God's thoughts, the sum total of all beings of all time. The Course makes an amazing assertion here. God's thoughts are given all the power that their own Creator has. In the Bible, it is recorded that Jesus said toward the end of his life, "All power is given to me in heaven and in earth." The Course says that all power is given to us as the sonship, not just to Jesus. What this is saying is that what God can do, we can do. We are simply His extensions. Therefore, as He creates, we create also. The reason God shares His power with us is that He would add to love by its extension. In other words, we have power in order to extend love. One short definition of creation might be the extension of love. But the form of love we share in this world is not love's reality. It is only a reflection of heaven's love. Our earthly experience of love is always in the context of separate beings exchanging love. In heaven, it is only the awareness of perfect oneness. We can only imagine what love is like in that context. We can have glimpses of it in a holy instant when the barriers between minds seem to disappear. In that moment, there is an awareness that the other person is you and you are the other person. You are the love in you extending to them. You are the love in the other person extending towards you. And you are the love in yourself, loving yourself. It can be a disorienting experience because you literally start to lose track of who you are. In the context of individuals, while simultaneously you become aware of something much larger, and more all-inclusive, that is what you really are. Those experiences are wonderful, and asking for them is not discouraged by the Course. But the main thing to realize here is that creation, as the Course talks about it, is not an experience on earth. It is an experience in heaven. It is something that is always going on, and our dream of separation, which is this world, has not interrupted creation at all. Nothing has been lost or stopped by our illusion of separation. That is why the Course can tell us, as in last week's topic, the Last Judgment, that the final judgment on this world is wholly purposeless, without a cause, and now without a function in Christ's sight. It merely slips away to nothingness. If creation in heaven means the extension of love, what is its parallel in our earthly experience? The Course says that the parallel to the extension of love is forgiveness. I think of forgiveness as recognizing creation rather than actually creating. Thank you so much for joining with me in lesson 323. I gladly make the sacrifice of fear. I love you. Thank you for joining with me.